The movie begins in the hustling, bustling city of Mumbai, India, with a voiceover of a man narrating the troubles of a marriage. He says that still, with all the troubles, it is a holy matrimony, and everyone has their own reasons to get married. Some marry for pleasure, and some for entertainment. But amidst all these, there are some people who run from marriage, but marriage finds a way of crossing their path. And that is what happened to the main lead of our story, Shivam Kumar. Shiv never wanted to get married, but got married 3 times without his consent. All of this started a year ago. We are taken back in time, when a girl is hit by a motorcycle. Shiv sees the scene unfold and rushes in to help her. It turns out that her father is in the hospital, and she was delivering medicines to him but got hit. Shiv offers her his hand and takes her to see her father. Seeing his daughter walking hand in hand with a man, a smile appears on the ill man's face. As the two of them sit next to his bed, he smiles, makes Shiv promise that he will take care of his daughter, and passes away. Shiv starts to panic, and to add fuel to the fire, other patients tell him that he fulfilled a man's dying wish by accepting to marry his daughter. As a wedding gift, he got 45 rupees, 2 bananas, 2.5 oranges, a few coins, and a bottle of saline. And that is how Shivam Kumar got his first wife, Juhi. But that is not all. Fate takes another interesting turn when he goes to his friend Balu's wedding. There, Balu's brother approaches him, asking for help. It turns out that Balu was drunk driving and got arrested by police. He asks Shiv to pretend to be Balu for a while, until he gets Balu back from the police station. Being a kind-hearted person, Shiv agrees. Upon reaching the bride's home, he calls Balu's brother, but he lies, saying that they are on their way. It is revealed that both of the brothers lied and are running away to Canada. Shiv keeps contacting the 2 brothers, but they never pick up. Having no other option, Shiv goes to the bride and tells her the truth. But there comes another twist when he finds out that Balu showed Shiv's picture to the bride and her family, and the girl knows who she is marrying. That is not all. Balu also took 500,000 from the bride's family in the name of Shiv and ran to Canada with it. Annoyed, Shiv says that he cannot get married and she should find another groom. But he is emotionally blackmailed by the bride, who tells him that her marriage has already been called off 3 times and that if he does not marry her, she will herself. To save her, he agrees. And that is how Shivam Kumar got his second wife, Simran. Even though his helping nature got him 2 wives, he still didn't change. One day, on his way back from work, he sees a girl dressed as a bride asking for his help. It turns out that some men are after her, and she needs help escaping. Shiv gives her a ride, but things start to go sideways when the girl calls her boyfriend and finds out that the man she left her wedding for isn't interested in her anymore, since her brother is a don. She starts crying, and Shiv stops the bike to comfort her, but she, on the other hand, starts running, wanting to end herself. He stops her and offers to drop her home, but she's worried that her brother will end her. As Shiv is promising to talk to her brother, a few cars come to stop by them. Her brother, with his men, has come for her. Shiv is shocked at seeing him because his brother is none other than Tiger, the infamous Don of the city. Shiv tries to run, but she holds his hand even more tightly. The 2 of them are taken to her home, and Tiger misunderstands the situation, thinking that Shiv is the one she left home for. He gives his blessing to them, and shocked Shiv runs after him. He explains all of his story to him, but to no avail, since Tiger is deaf. And in fear of Tiger, Shiv gets his 3rd wife, Angelie. Today, Shiv has a lot of money and is a successful businessman, but lacks peace of mind. He keeps all 3 of his wives in different parts of the city. He also told them that he needed to spend 1 night at home and 2 at work, so that he could spend 1 day with each wife. To get a bit of peace, he visits his friend Karen, who is also a lawyer. He shares his problems with him, saying that all of his wives want him to greet them before going to work, and traveling so much for just a greeting is making him go crazy. Karan advises him to keep all 3 of them in one building, on different floors. Shiv likes the idea, but makes an improvisation. Karan will also stay in the same building, so that Shiv can have an excuse whenever he goes out. Shiv got 3 flats and a cocktail tower to make his life easier. On the 8th floor of the building, he lives with his second wife Simran. The other 2 of his wives serve him, but she makes him serve her. As she comes out of the shower, she tries to seduce him. He is pushed against the wall, and she leans in to kiss him but stops short when the maid, Champa, arrives. Champa gets to work, and Shiv finds it an excuse to leave. He then goes to the 6th floor to meet Angelie. She hints that she wants to have kids, but he pretends not to understand. Annoyed, she says that she would have to now pass the time by meeting the neighbors. The thought of her 3 wives together frightens him, and he warns Angelie to stay away from the other women in the building since he doesn't want anyone to come between the two of them. Shiv's next stop is the 4th floor, to see his first wife, Juhi. Upon seeing him, she hugs him tightly, saying that he is the best husband since he finds time for her, even in his busy schedule. He then has breakfast, and this is when Juhi complains about not having a maid. He promises to get her one, and it is revealed that this day marks their first wedding anniversary. He hugs her tightly and leaves for work. Once outside, he waves all 3 of them goodbye, and the security guard watches in shock. To save himself from trouble, he had broken down his name, Shivam Kumar, and each of his wives knows him by a different name. But that is not all. Apart from his 3 wives, Shivam Kumar also has a girlfriend named Deepika. The scene shifts to Deepika having fun at a club. She can be seen dancing with Shiv. Later he confesses that he missed her a lot. He had been in love with her since before the life-changing incidents. She went to London for a year, and now she is back. He kisses her on the forehead, and she reveals that it is time for him to meet her dad. He is a bit hesitant because her father is a business tycoon, but she promises him that he would like him. Meanwhile, at the Kothari group of companies, Deepika's father can be seen praying. Her father is a family person and has a strict rule stating that every employee should have a photo of their life partner on the desk. His prayer doesn't stop even when Deepika arrives. Sighing, she puts Shiv's photo on his desk and leaves. After the prayer, he gets to work and accidentally drops the photo. Not knowing about the fallen picture, he gets to work and interviews a candidate. The girl, Pooja, arrives with her fiancé's picture, but also drops it. In an attempt to quickly get the job, she picks the picture without looking at it and accidentally hands Shiv's picture to him. He looks it over and hands it back, saying that if the photo changes, she will also have to change the job. Once at her desk, she looks at the picture and is shocked to see Shiv. Remembering the boss's warning about the change, she decides not to clear the misunderstanding. The scene then switches to Deepika on her morning run, when her father pays her a visit. She is furious because he didn't see Shiv's photo, but to calm her down, he invites Shiv to their place. Excited at the news, Deepika calls Shiv, informing him about the meetup plans. He is happy but hurriedly hangs up the call when Simran arrives. She tries getting intimate with him, only to get interrupted by their housekeeper Shampa. Shiv, saved once again, leaves to visit Angelie, only to find his brother-in-law, Tiger Pai, waiting for him there. And just like Angelie, Tiger also wants them to have kids. As she leaves to get some food for them, they two sit down to have some talk. Since Tiger is deaf, Shiv starts cursing him with a smile. Angelie arrives with a glass of milk and accidentally spills the milk on Shiv's shirt, ruining it. Shiv is forced to change his shirt, but he is worried about what Simran would say about a change of clothes. After meeting Angelie, he goes to see his first wife, Juhi, and accidentally calls her Angelie. He is quick to cover his mistake and leaves, thanking God for saving him. Upon leaving the building, Shiv calls Karan to tell him about his change of shirt, which would make Simran suspicious, and asks him to handle the situation. He then waves his wives goodbye and leaves. Simran sees the changed shirt and is about to call Shiv when Karan arrives and makes her worries go away with a made-up science law. The next stop is Deepika's house, where her father observes him keenly. He can't seem to place where he saw Shiv's picture, gives up, and accepts him as his future son-in-law. Happy, Shiv goes to his office and presents Karan with sweets. Karan makes fun of his excitement, saying that it isn't his first wedding. Shiv sighs and says that it is the first one that he is doing willingly. Their conversation is interrupted when Shiv gets a call from his mother, demanding that he send her the picture of his wife. She warns him that if he fails to send the picture this time as well, then she'll come to their place to meet her. He hangs up the call and goes into deep thought regarding whose picture to send. It turns out that a few days ago, his father asked for the picture of his wife, and he can't remember whose picture he sent. Karan tells him to take a chill pill because, since his parents have been separated for 15 years, 2 different photos won't cause any problems. Shiv agrees with his plan and sends Juhi's picture to his mom. Fate takes an interesting turn when Juhi, on her morning run, bumps into Simran, who is cycling. The two become friends immediately and decide to get some juice. While getting the juice, they meet Angelie, and the 3 of them start talking. After talking for some time, Simran tells them about the annual function of her ladies' club and invites them both to join the club. They agree, solidifying their friendship. The next day, Angelie cleaned her balcony, and Champa dried clothes on the floor above. Accidentally, Shiv's underwear falls from above on Angelie's head. She recognizes it immediately because of a star that she embroidered on it. She questions Shiv about it, but before he can answer, Champa arrives, asking for the underwear. Upon seeing her, Shiv quickly turns around, hiding his face. The two women get into a fight, with Angelie claiming that the underwear belongs to her husband and Champa saying that it belongs to her boss. The fight escalates, and Angelie forces Shiv to turn around. Champa is shocked upon seeing him, but before she can say anything, he claims the underwear ordered her to leave. Even after Champa has left, Angelie stands thinking about how the underwear got mixed. To take her mind off of all this, Shiv offers to take her shopping. On the other hand, Champa on her way back bumps into Karan. Seeing her like this, he asks why she looks baffled. She shares his confusion, and to save his friend, Karan creates another illogical science law. Being an illiterate person, Champa believes him and leaves satisfied. Later, Shiv takes Angelie shopping as promised, not knowing that Juhi and Simran have also decided to visit the same mall. Simran and Juhi split up because they both wanted to look for different things. Meanwhile, Shiv leaves Angelie to get a trolley, but this is when Juhi spots him. She forces him to join her, and in a state of helplessness, he goes along with her. But that is not all. Deepika's dad is also in the mall that day. As Shiv is with Juhi, Angelie starts calling him. He disconnects the call, encouraging Juhi to quickly wind up her shopping. As if the entire universe is scheming against Shiv, Juhi meets Tiger, who asks for her assistance in helping him choose clothes for a newborn baby. She gets annoyed when he isn't able to understand what she is trying to say. She leaves, saying that she would fetch her husband to help him. But when Shiv sees who the man is, he takes Juhi to another shop. Meanwhile, Deepika's father is at a shop, trying on prescription glasses. He wears the glasses and spots Shiv with Juhi. Shiv sees him approaching the two of them and quickly excuses himself to get some water. Deepika's father reaches Juhi and inquires about Shiv. Thinking that he is Shiv's boss, she becomes furious at him and leaves. Once left alone, he realizes that Shiv is married and calls him a fraud. While escaping Deepika's father, Shiv bumps into Angelie, tells her that she is running from his boss, and runs away. Angelie also mistakes Deepika's father for Shiv's boss and goes to teach him a lesson. She admits that Shiv is his husband and warns him to stay away from her happiness. As she leaves, Deepika's father stands there confused about this situation. Escaping from Deepika's father, Shiv bumps into another of his wives, Simran, who is shopping for lingerie. She goes into the changing room, ordering Shiv to stay outside and wait for her. As he waits, Deepika's father finds him once again, and he runs to save himself. Deepika's father came to the place where Shiv was standing a few moments ago. Not knowing who is standing outside the changing room, Simran pulls him inside, only to scream upon finding Deepika's dad. Hearing her scream, the manager arrives, and he is kicked out of the shop. Once out, he makes a plan to throw Shiv in prison, and Shiv hears this. He immediately formulates a plan and rushes to help a lady with a child. Deepika's dad finally catches him and asks if the woman is his second wife. The lady gets furious and says that he was just helping her and is not her husband. At this, Shiv laughs and says that she ruined his plan. He then admits that he made Deepika's dad an April Fool. That night, when Deepika learns about the prank, she laughs out loud, saying that Shiv did him right for doubting his love for Deepika. On the other hand, Shiv and Karan get drunk on the roof of their building, reminiscing about today's events. Shiv says that the next day is Karva Chauth, a religious ceremony, and all three of his wives want him to be home at the time of the moon sighting. Since Karan has no solution for his problem, Shiv gets angry and shouts at the moon to take him out of this mess. The next day comes with the celebrations of Karva Chauth. Half an hour before the rising of the moon, Simran, Juhi, and Angelie get dressed in beautiful attire and start waiting for Shiv to arrive. They call him, but he doesn't pick up. After thinking for some time, he finally comes up with a plan. He calls all three of them, telling them to come to the balcony. They come to find Shiv standing on the roof of the building in front of their apartment, as close to the moon as someone can get. All three of his wives smile and do all the rituals. The next day brings another problem for Shiv. Shiv's father arrives at his building, and Karan spots him. To handle the situation, he himself escorts Shiv's father to the 6th floor, Angelie's home. He then calls Shiv to inform him of his father's arrival, and finds out that Shiv's mother has also arrived. Shiv quickly takes his mom to Juhi's place. Juhi mistook her for a maid, but quickly apologized upon knowing the truth. His mother tells Juhi that she separated from Shiv's father because he found a beautiful woman, and left her. But on the other hand, his father tells Angelie that he still waits for Shiv's mom to come back into his life. Shiv excuses himself and goes to meet his father. He is shocked to hear that his father has arrived to stay for at least 20 days. The next day is Angelie's birthday, and as Shiv and Karan are setting up the table, the doorbell rings. Karan looks through the peephole to find Juhi and Simran on the other side. Both men begin to panic, and finding no place to hide, Shiv smears cakes on his face, making him unrecognizable. Thankfully, none of his wives recognizes him, and he is saved. Later the next day, as Shiv's mom is sitting beside the pool, his dad spots him. He apologizes to her for leaving her and asks her to come back. During their conversation, they find out that Shiv has 2 wives. But they decided not to bust his secret because they saw happiness in the eyes of their daughters-in-law. They decide to keep things as they are and meet every day at the poolside. The 2 lovebirds hug each other, and this is when Juhi and Angelie spot them. But since they are in a hurry to get to their ladies' club performance, they leave. At the club, the performance begins, and it is revealed that the girl is none other than Deepika. Deepika is Simran's friend. After the performance ends, Simran introduces Deepika to the other 2, and they all invite her for a meal at their place. But she declines the offer, saying that she is getting married very soon and will visit all 3 of them after her wedding with her husband. Later, all 3 of them go to have a drink together, and this is when Juhi and Angelie spot Shiv's parents sitting together, drinking coconut water. They are all mortified at the scene in front of them. Angelie goes home and informs Shiv about this reunion. He is shocked, but their conversation is interrupted when his father arrives and calls him to his room. On the other hand, Juhi is suspicious of her mother-in-law. When Shiv arrives, she informs him about her affair with Angelie's father-in-law. Upon hearing this, Shiv pretends to be shocked and tells Juhi to keep an eye on their mother-in-law. Meanwhile, in his office, Deepika's father sees Shiv's picture on the desk of his personal assistant. The next day, when Angelie is going to meet her friends, she drags Shiv out with him. Upon seeing his other 2 wives, he hugs Angelie, trying to hide his face. He is successful in hiding from them, but Champa sees him. Bewildered, she goes to Karan, saying that her boss was with another woman in front of his wife, but still his wife says nothing. Karan once again handles the situation by making up another fake scientific theory. Escaping from all his wives, Shiv reaches his car, only to get a call from Deepika, demanding he and Karan meet her immediately. When they arrive, she tells them that she wants to have a court marriage since her dad has strange suspicions about Shiv. Karan agrees with her plan and tells them both to bring their witnesses to the court, saying that he will make sure that they get married. The next day, Shiv dresses up to go get married. After leaving Simran's house, he goes to seek his father's blessings, only to find that his parents know about his 2 marriages. Their conversation is interrupted when Angelie arrives, and Shiv leaves, forgetting his phone with his father. Fate takes an interesting turn when Karan calls Shiv, and his father picks up to find that he is getting married again. Shiv returns, retrieves his phone, and leaves to see his mom. He takes her blessings and leaves. Finally reaching the court, Shiv finds out that Deepika's witnesses are none other than his 3 wives. He quickly hides, leaving Karan to handle the matter. Karan makes up an excuse and says that Shiv has to go because his witness had an accident. Karan tells them that the wedding is postponed and the other 3 girls leave. But that is not all. After they start to leave, Shiv's parents arrive to inquire about the situation. Juhi and Angelie watch them from afar and misunderstand the situation, that they too have arrived to get married. The girls quickly leave to inform their husbands about the situation. The scene switches to a sad Deepika leaving the courtroom, but her sadness fades when Shiv arrives. He tells her that his friend is out of danger now, so the 2 of them should go to a temple to get married, but they are stopped when her father arrives. He takes the 2 of them to his office and confronts Shiv. To make his point, he calls in his assistant Pooja and asks if Shiv is her fiancé or not. This is when she admits that this is all a misunderstanding that happened. Realizing his mistake, he apologizes to Shiv. The wedding preparations start from scratch, and Deepika wants her wedding to be grand. She invites Simran, Juhi, and Angelie to the wedding as well. But to protect his secrets from being revealed, he goes to Deepika with the idea that he wants his wedding to be themed, and everyone should arrive dressed as a groom or bride. The wedding days arrive, and everyone arrives dressed according to the theme. As per Indian culture, the face of the groom should be hidden, hence making Shiv unrecognizable. A twist comes when both of Shiv's parents arrive. It turns out that Shiv's father is the childhood friend of Deepika's father. On the other hand, Tiger has captured a groom who demanded 2 million rupees in dowry, but he escapes. Tiger and his men run after him and arrive at Shiv's wedding. To look for their man, they decide to remove the turban of each groom. The wedding rituals begin, but are stopped by the sound of gunfire. Tiger orders everyone to remove their turbans, and Shiv is also forced to remove his. But before he can remove it, Tiger's men arrive with their wanted groom. The wedding process starts once again, but in a hurry, Shiv's turban is displaced, revealing his true identity. The 4 women get into a fight, claiming him to be theirs. The fight is stopped by Shiv's mother, who goes up to her son, demanding answers. And when he admits the truth, she slaps him for ruining the lives of 4 women. She slaps him again, calling him a cheater. But this is when Shiv reveals the whole story to everyone. How he loved Deepika way before getting married and how he accidentally got married 3 times. All 3 of his wives realize that Shiv was forced into marrying them, but still took care of them and loved them. After he stops narrating his story, his mom starts to cry and hugs her son. Deepika's father asks his daughter about her decision, and she says that Shivam Kumar is a man who is loved even through tragedies, so his love should not suffer any tragedy. With tears streaming down her face, she agrees to go on with the wedding. The movie ends with Deepika getting married to Shiv, and all 4 of his wives accepting each other and living together happily.